Okay, so she's only talking real shit. All right, here we
Wait,
go.
are we online right now?
Well, I let the camera run for like a minute and a half just to make sure all the audio sounds good. So this is there. This will be bloopers.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Yeah. I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now. I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now. I've been on my grind just to live it out.
Yeah.
Say what's on your mind just
I was trying to
hear it
promote this, but I
loud.
couldn't find out where it was.
Everybody knows me.
Yes, and we are back with another episode of the Dope Individuals Only podcast. I'm Erik, the host, and I'm up here with another dope individual. Please introduce yourself.
Hello there. My name is Michelle Zattoni. I'm the founder of International Cultural Festival and the International Cultural Exchange Program. Hey.
Now that's big.
Thank you.
That's big. I want to jump right into it because I feel like an hour is not going to be enough. I feel like an hour is not going to do you justice. So we're going to jump right into it. How the hell did you start doing festivals? That's like,
oh, Lord.
yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I wasn't trying to start off this way. But long story short, I grew up in an Irish, Polish, Italian home. I was adopted. I'm Irish, Dutch, and Black, right? So when I was growing up, I grew up kind of like with the white American experience.
Yeah.
As far as food and music and those types of things. Well, my sister was a juvenile correction officer in Allentown.
She's working for the man.
She was working for the man, Lehigh County. And but she was also the one that, like, you know, as she was learning these different cultures from interacting with these different groups of people, she was interested and she would bring them home. So she's, you know, I'd go visit her and she would be making patillos and, you know, beef patties and listening to Beanie Man and salsa.
You was getting all the culture just like in one spot.
Yeah,
the hookup.
Exactly. And she was single too, so she, you know, she was dating a lot of these people and everything. So, you know, she got the insider info. So really, it was just learning a lot from her. And then I was doing community work with Faces International for like 5 years, and they taught me.
Shout out to Faces.
Shout out to Faces.
Tyrone Russell. That's my guy. He was on the podcast very early.
What?
Yeah.
Tyrone is a beast, man.
He's incredible. He's an incredible dude.
He taught me a lot, seriously. Very great person. And, you know, just as a human being, he taught me a lot, not just in business. But I was working with them and they were doing all these community events. And I had come up with the idea to kind of like do a Black cultural festival. But then my sister, the one I was talking about, she got sick really sick in 2017. So I went out there, like where she lives in Clearfield County, to take care of her. And then when she passed in 2018, I had to, you know, before she passed, I told her like, I'll do this festival. Like, I'm going to do it.
My condolences. I didn't know
No worries.
that.
Thank you. So when she passed, I said, you know what? Like, I'm just going to do it. So I came back to the Valley. She died in April and I did the festival in 6 months. So,
What?
yeah, it was crazy.
What?
It was crazy.
That sounds like way too soon of a turnaround.
It's called when you don't grieve, you grind is what that's called. You know,
That's
it's like
exactly
I'm not
what it
going to
sound like.
repress these feelings. I'm going to put it to work.
Holy smokes.
So I did the festival in 6 months. We had 2 days. So it was actually on my mom's birthday, the first weekend. So honestly, the festival was supposed to be a tribute to my sister and what she taught me and what Allentown had to offer and what it brought to me and my family. So that's really where the festival came from.
Wow. That's taking something dark and turning into something beautiful for sure. So like is she still incorporated in today's like festivals? Like, you know, because
Well, yeah, I mean the cultural diversity, the youth programs that go on throughout the year with the cultural exchange program that I now have, that's all a part of like everything that she brought to me and to my other family members.
oh man, you had the inside scoop and you ran with that shit.
I ran with it.
That's dope. That's really dope. When you first set out and you put this in motion, did you think that it would grow to how big it is now?
No, That was actually where I was going to continue because what happened was it was supposed to be just like a 1 day thing, like a one weekend. Okay, we did my tribute. My mom, she came. Her
That's
birthday
that.
was cool. Wish
Yeah.
my mom a happy birthday. And then Taba Sultana, she's actually on city council in Easton. She came up to me and she had her, traditional clothes on. And she had told me that this was the first time that she felt comfortable in this, at the time in this area with her traditional clothes with her family. And she explained to me about her kids getting picked on at school and everything. And that just sparked like, we need to continue to do this. And that's when it became like a yearly, let's do this every year. Let's have this celebration. Let's incorporate as many cultures as possible.
That's so fire, and I can understand that too because I don't know with this country and our relationship with Middle Eastern people, we treat them funny, especially ever since 2001.
Correct.
So that's dope that you created something where people who don't typically feel comfortable found a space where they can be themselves.
Yeah, and it also attributes to my own journey as a teenager, struggling with being biracial. I'm growing up in, a white home. People are calling me Oreo. Like
I was going to say, what's
zebra.
that like? I mean, I grew up in a black household. I had the traditional stereotypical shit. My dad wasn't there. My mom held down the fort, kind of thing.
Shout out, Mom.
Yeah, big shout out to all the moms out there putting in all the work. But, you are a black girl and you have white parents. What's that like?
Well, it's a mix. So it's like, I do need to see both sides of it. It was strange. I can't lie, but I think a lot of people, like teenagers, you go through an identity crisis. You just kind of go through that who the heck am I kind of vibe. But I think overall it was good for me because that's what opened my perspective up. Like, I know what it feels like not to belong. So when she came up to me or other situations where people tell me that it was more pulling my heartstrings. I don't think she meant to do that, but at the same time it did because I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was important to create a space. And I'm not really creating, not taking credit away from myself, but they have multicultural festivals in a lot of other cities. I lived in Atlanta for 10 years. So when I came back here, I'm like, where is the Black Cultural Festival? Where's like the
We don't
Caribbean
have
Festival?
a lot of shit here.
It's growing. I mean, we have Juneteenth now.
Yeah. We got Reggae Fest.
Reggae Fest. Shout out to Mike Versetto.
Yeah.
And then we have the Cultural Festival.
Yeah.
And then I see a bunch of different cultural festivals populating now. We have the Dominican Festival that popped up since I came back to the Valley.
Puerto Rican Parade every year.
That's been here for over 20 years. Yeah, they've been working on that. Because first it was representing all Latinos because that was really the only one, right? But now they have all these different ones. I think it's freaking cool.
I love when you get down to Jordan Park and they got all the food down there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the music's playing. They build this big ass stage. It's really dope, especially because Latinos in this area are the majority, but we're not represented as such. Like, I feel like, you go into our schools, you don't really see a lot of Hispanic teachers. You go into our government, you don't really see a lot of Latin representatives and things of that nature. So I really love that we do that on a yearly basis as a show of force. Like, we are here. We stand.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's not knocking anybody,
Yeah.
right? It's just you are here and you need to be represented. It's only fair.
Yeah. I do want to ask you, this is a little off topic, but yesterday was the election.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I feel like I would be doing a disservice if we don't talk about it, especially because you're very straightforward. So I'll be honest, I knew the man was going to win for the past 4 years.
I did too. I mean, I recently moved out of the area. I'm no longer living in the Lehigh Valley. I had to get a little bit closer to family. They all moved out, and I am surrounded by, an area that has a lot of Trump supporters. And what I have actually found in talking to them, because a lot of times we only talk with our own political affiliations, right? We're just, we're going to talk to, my friends on the Harris campaign. I have friends all throughout, but as I'm talking to them, they have their own perspectives that I think people aren't really seeing. So for me, it's just a matter of everybody being open-minded and understanding that, what happened. And, whichever way you voted, it is what it is. And we just have to deal with whatever the consequences of that are. But at the same time, that's a nationwide situation, but you still have an opportunity to work within your community. You have Matt Turk here, you have Susan Wild, you have a lot of people that are really geared towards community work and giving back. So whether, Harris won or Trump won, I think I'm always going to stay focused on the community as much as some of those other laws do impact some of our work and how funds are allocated and those types of things. I think it's always important to like stick to where your community is. Even though I'm gone, this is my home place. So, you know what I'm saying?
I love the fact that you bring that up because for months, everybody just gets all these leaflets and papers about, who you're voting for. And it's only about the presidential candidates. But we just voted on Congress.
Yeah.
We just voted on Senate.
Magistrates.
Yeah, magistrates.
Depending on where you're at.
Judges. You know what I'm saying? Like we do these things, and every 2 years there's also local elections, and a lot of people don't participate in them, and they have a direct effect on our community in our everyday life. And I just think that we all got hung up again on the president, and I think that the more, and I would say it's even a little bit more important, especially because it affects us, that those people who have something to do with our everyday life, they're not put on the platform that they probably should be, like to show the importance, like of what the controller does. Like that's an important job, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Who school board members are every 2 years. Nobody's really saying that, but everybody will complain about these things.
Correct.
And it's just like, I don't know how we change the tide as far as to make people more aware of what we're actually dealing with and how to change things in a positive light.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know either, to be honest. I'm not like a political expert or anything. But yeah, the judges, even, one of the original supporters and my continued partnership with the RILIC, the owner is Linda Vega, and she's a magistrate judge. Yeah.
Shout out Linda Vega.
Shout out Linda Vega.
Yeah.
Like, so serious, man. She's amazing. She helped support the festival from day one. She's been my fiscal sponsor and partner all through festival here in Allentown. We went to Nigeria, did some development, and had a festival there.
You got to talk about that.
We will. I'm also expanding to East Stroudsburg. So Linda's been a strong partner. But her job is very important. You think about it, you get a parking ticket, who you going to? Magistrate.
Yeah.
When you get a DUI, truancy at school, these types of things. So these are the people that are actually able to help shape the youth by giving them restorative justice versus jail time.
Yeah,
right?
penalizing them for making mistakes that we're all guilty of.
Right. So when you have people like that are fair and considerate and have the background to understand, those are the people that I think we need to be focused on.
Yeah.
Personally.
I agree. And I'm very interested to see how this next 6 months for sure happens, because he's going to sign in a lot of new things on day one. And I just want to see like how dire it gets for some people and how we as a community and as a country, how we're going to respond to that. Because at the end of the day, people are going to be penalized and demonized real soon. And it's just a matter of like, are we going to show up for our neighbors? How are we as a country going to change in this time? Because there's a lot of things going on, not only here in this country, but around the world. And this election has is going to be influencing a lot of things outside of our own borders. So.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
As an international person, a person who travels internationally, I don't know why I said it that way.
As an international person.
Yeah. Aren't we all global citizens?
I'm well traveled.
Yeah. I'm the only person in the world. But as a person who travels internationally, yes, American policies affect pretty much the entire planet. So it's always impacting other places. And I think that's something that we also forget about, when we're in these elections, how is that impacting other countries to some of these policies, and how we're interacting with them. Look how much stuff we import. Yeah. Import, export, these types of things. So it's important.
Yeah. I think the importing and exporting and then how he's going to deal with immigration is the two biggest things I'm interested in watching unfold, because so much of what we consume in this country is from other places. And he's talking about 100%, 200% tariffs, things like that. It's like,
it's tough.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how people are going to respond when they've been paying $6 for something and now it's $24.
Yeah,
for the same thing from the same company. So I'm very interested in hearing that. But I do want to talk about your international stuff, because you mentioned an exchange program. Like, is this like traditional like You're sending a kid to Italy and you're getting 2 kids back. Oh wait, no, it's not one of those.
No, it's a culture exchange program.
Okay.
So the whole purpose of the program. So we have different nonprofits within our community that do different types of programming. Right?
Yeah.
So I took those nonprofits and kind of introduced them to each other. Like, hey, you do this and you do that, and wouldn't it be cool if you guys just
Yeah.
So
Build the bridge for them.
Yeah. So I kind of built the bridge and. We have Rillick on one side doing arts, kind of more so like life social skills. And then we have NSR who focuses on like self-esteem and, affirmations, so vision boards, entrepreneurship. And then I'm kind of in the middle there. Yeah, I'm in the middle with the restorative practices and the financial literacy. I'm the boring one, I guess.
You have a very important job. So many people, they like money, but they don't understand money. How you talk in financial literacy.
We did that today, actually, at Casa Guadalupe Center in Allentown. We did a financial literacy class with members first, and it was really cool.
What are you guys doing? Like teaching them how to budget and stuff like that?
Well, first we started more so talking about like what is banking. What's the difference between a bank and a credit union? What's the difference between a debit card and a credit card? Like those types of things. And then next week we'll get into budgeting.
Where is this stuff at? Like how are you letting people know this is happening? There's so many people I know that think they know what they're talking about when it comes to, and I'm no guru, but I'm a little bit ahead of the curve than most of my peers.
You are.
And I be trying to tell them like, no, that's not how it goes, bud. Like, but nobody wants to hear information from me, but they might be interested in something like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is the thing is like, and I'm not discounting adults or anything, but any adult can walk into any bank anywhere and just tell them that they need, what they want to talk about. And especially your credit unions, they're very good about educating their community because you have to think about it. A credit union is owned by the members, not by the stockholders.
Right.
So, or stakeholders, excuse me. So I typically like to work with credit union when it comes to financial literacy, but you can always walk in there and just, tell them and sit back with a manager and they'll schedule it for you. Or even classes, they'll offer classes at different community centers.
Shit, I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, no, I didn't know either.
I just use Google and YouTube. Like
I say Google, YouTube, but at the same time to have someone direct, like you have to think about it from their perspective too. They want your business, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to be willing to do to get your business? How hard is it to sit down for somebody in 30 minutes and explain to them things or give them a couple of different pamphlets? But what I do is more so for like the 11 through 17-year-old age range.
Okay, young adults.
Yeah, young adults. I really wanted to focus on kids. Yeah, because I have 2 parts of me, right? So I have the part that everybody thinks they know, and Michelle's great, and she's so personable, and she's so happy, like the person you see now. And then there's the other side, and it's like so.
She doesn't take no shit at all. I forget what you said the day of the what's the name, but I'm like, okay, boss lady, like don't call me that. I was like, all right, like
I'm not. No, I have a name over here, okay?
I
put some
like
respect on it.
I have no problem with women that are in charge. I have absolutely none. And I got a lot of respect for it, especially being raised by a mother. You know what I mean? Like I learned early on that women bring a certain skill set and a level of respect.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then the biggest thing, you're not like men in the aspect of like everybody's all hunky-dory, but people don't like each other, and they, you guys would just tell you, like, I don't want to do business with you. I don't like the way you talk. I don't like the way you treat people. You know, I'll find somebody else who got your same skill set. Get the fuck out.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing is I grew up kind of in corporate. My first career was in real estate, and then I went to construction and engineering project management. So you don't take any shit.
Yeah.
There is like, you're not fucking doing your job. Like you got one more time.
And those are all male-dominated career fields,
very
too.
male-dominated.
Yeah.
Real estate's more so getting, now it's like kind of female-dominated. But once you start getting into developers and stuff and commercial properties, it's a lot of males, a lot of lawyers.
I was gonna say more. I still see a lot of males in commercial.
Yeah. I did both, but and that's how I fell into the engineering project management. But at the same time, the same sister I was telling you about, she was in juvie, working at juvie for 20 years. She didn't take any shit either. My dad was in the military. He didn't like, he called it not cutting any ice, but basically like just stop whatever you're doing.
That's a new expression.
Yeah, this is like if you do something, it's like that doesn't cut any ice.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
like it's not worth shit. It don't,
like you're kind of right. Like it doesn't
don't cut any ice. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't cut the ice or something like that. But
but
yeah, no, there was a point when I was a diplomat. I mean, I remember that too. A couple years ago, somebody I was talking to, and they were like, "Yo, you're one of the most diplomatic people ever," and I'm like, "Oh, I need to change that shit." I need to change that shit because in all reality, yes, I'm nice and I'm friendly and all that. But I'm friendly and I'm kind. Let me take that back because nice is a totally different subject.
Yeah.
But, when I hear these things, it just, you have to take that as feedback. So basically you're telling me anybody can walk all over me. I'm consistently humble. No, I'm not. I have humble moments. So I had to really, go through some personal things in addition to kind of listening to what people were saying about me to realize that I was putting off this image. But at the other hand of that, and back to Faces, I was director of public relations. So you kind of have to be, and then I was school board president over at the Eastern Arts Academy, so you're,
I know it's not
really.
I know it's not okay to ask a woman how old is she, but goddamn, you did a lot of motherfucking things. And I'm pretty sure you're not a day over, like what, 42?
I'm 44.
44?
Yeah, I'll be 45 in January.
Wow.
Capricorn gang.
Oh
okay.
my God. No more Capricorn. My wife's a Capricorn.
And that's why she's your wife.
Oh
she's
my
awesome.
God. She's
awesome.
Dude, you guys are
Don't
different.
Get yourself in trouble now.
Like she's December 30th.
Oh, January 4th.
Okay.
I love her already. Look at that. No, there's
she's
like
a boss
Capricorn
too, though.
vibe. Yeah, there's a Capricorn. We're the father sign of the zodiac, and like we're the paternal, we're the paternal sign of the zodiac.
Y'all get on my nerves. That's what y'all do.
I'm sure. Well, what's your sign?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh God.
We're the best. We're the most balanced of the signs.
Shout out to your wife, and that's all I'm gonna say.
What the fuck is that supposed?
Sis, I feel you, and I will pray for you from here on out. Okay.
I feel personally attacked.
Look, it's not personal. Cancers tend to be a little emotional. Like you
She
said, I
said
don't
the
take
same
any
thing.
shit, but
She
it's just
says-
like it's because you want me to fluff it. You want me to be like, please don't call me that. I would really.
I tell her,
nigga, just don't fucking call me that.
It's not about what you say; it's how you say it. I tell her that shit all the time. I'm like, yo, when you come to me, you come correct.
I mean,
all right, don't just say it however right off the cuff. Like it don't work like that.
That's true. That's true. I've definitely gotten that before. So I have worked to, because it's hard. Like I said, you're director of this and you're public that. So you kind of have that personality where you're cordial and you're friendly and you're kind of not compliant, but you just kind of
you can fall in line when you need to.
Yeah, you have to fall in line,
yeah.
right? And then the other side of it is just like, like I really want to say something, you know what I mean? So it's hard.
Well, he's getting under my skin.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like itchy. So it's hard to, and I think a lot of people have that where there's what you're thinking versus what to say to someone to have it equally as effective without being disrespectful. So I do try to balance that line. But I'm not good with like abusive type of people or, when it comes to people like narcissistic or abusive or manipulative, like, no, I don't really.
Right out the gate.
Right out the gate.
It's funny. Like, I don't always
I don't
notice
have a
those
joke,
things.
but I have a funny story.
All right, go ahead. Let's hear it.
Well, no, just about like there was this gentleman that we were working with or whatever. And we're talking about like he's selling a product or whatever. So I'm giving him insight on the product out of nowhere. And this is like 8:00 in the morning. Cause entrepreneurs, we work all the time. I have a day job in the business. So yeah, you're just nuts. So it's like 8:00 in the morning and he sends me this hospital picture, like this picture of him in the hospital with this gown, from the bed or whatever. And he's saying, and I'm like, what the F, bro? Are you okay? Just a
like
general human being
yeah.
shit, right? Like, wouldn't you be concerned?
Yeah.
Even if if it was you, like we don't really know each other behind you hit me up with a hospital pic. I'm like, are you okay?
Everything cool? Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm just getting cancer testing and stuff.
No, that's crazy.
So, and I had to verify with my therapist, like, was this okay to say? But so I text him back, like, next time you want attention, just ask.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Right? So he would have hit me back, whatever, talk to you later. No, actually not. Like, what is there to talk about?
But why are you of all people?
Oh, no, I found out he sent it to other members of our team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we kind of have this entertainment group, right, where people do events, so it's kind of group. But, I found out, I was like, he sent that to you too? He sent that to you too? Damn. I have never needed that much validation in my life, man. I know 4-year-olds that don't need that much validation.
What's your therapist say?
Oh, she laughed. She laughed. She said, "Oh, Michelle, you're back." I said, "I am back."
Yeah, back in my bag.
Back in the bag. Yeah. But no, you still have to be humble. You have to have those moments where, you're not the biggest person in the room. You're not the smartest person in the room. And if you are, you need to change rooms. You know what I mean?
I really like what you said though, where you said, "I'm not nice. I'm kind.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Can
for sure.
yeah, can you speak on that a little bit? Because I didn't learn this until a couple years ago. I used to be like, I'm a nice guy, you know, and my wife used to be like, you're too nice, you're too nice, you're too nice. And then I realized I was people's doormat for a while.
Yes.
But can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, and I will state this for the record, I am no expert in any of these things, but just as far as
Lived
like
experience.
Webster, you know,
Webster.
dictionary version, right? You know, basically when you're nice, you're just kind of plausible to it. You know, you're kind of pliable, not plausible, but pliable. You know, you're moldable. You're like kind of submissive, okay with everything. I'm really not that way. You know, and when you think about nice, there's nice moments and there's nice things you do for people, but do you really want to constantly be nice?
Yeah.
You know, kind is different because, you know, it's something that's, at least to me, like something from your heart and, you know, something that you do. And,
Something
but
thoughtful.
it's not,
Yeah.
but it's not to the point where you're sacrificing yourself. You know, when I think about nice, I kind of think you're slipping into codependency. You know,
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can
like,
see that.
You know, no, I've been guilty of it too. There was a point in time, even when I would say I'm sorry all the time. Actually, Tyrone Russell told me about that. He's like, why are you always saying sorry?
Yeah.
And I had to trace it back. I said, oh, crap, that goes back to growing up with domestic violence and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, so I've really tried hard to stop, you know.
And how long of a process was this for you? But like when you got to the point where, you know, you because honestly, I boil it down to a confidence thing. I would say the biggest thing is confidence. So like when did you find that you could be confident in yourself and you don't have to be this way?
Oh, boy. Well, I mean, I really feel like I just said I was in therapy, but that's fine.
Sure, I go to therapy too. My therapist, he's retiring in February. I'm a little sad.
No, that's like it's like losing a family member.
Yeah,
man.
I'm a little sad. I don't know, but at the same time, I was talking to my wife yesterday, and for the past couple months, I've been feeling like I'm starting to get to the place where I don't think he can do much more for me.
Yeah,
Like-
there's like a maintenance part of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm on the maintenance part too at this point.
So but I was sad the other day. Like I had one of my best sessions last week, and yeah, he was like, you know, I'm retiring in February, and I was like, shit,
heartbreak.
yeah, like I didn't know how
Are
to
you gonna
feel
grief
about it.
counsel me afterwards?
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. I said, all right, so you got 3 months to solve all my problems. Like that's it's one of those.
But yeah, no, back to your question is I mean, I still think I'm in that process, you know, and I really have to, you know, just to be full honest, you know, it was one of those things where like, you know, I think I struggled with self-esteem when I was younger, you know, teenage years. And then, you know, I moved to Atlanta, you know, you live on your own, you start accomplishing things, you're looking at yourself in a different way. So I really didn't suffer any particular confidence issues up until, you know, my sister. Actually, what happened was I had a couple of family deaths before my sister. So it was like my brother, then a year later my dad, then, you know, and it just kind of kept going.
Oh, damn.
So it was
you
like,
had a
it was like
rough
5
couple
family
years.
deaths in like 4 years. And I was like, oh, like, I just was like, okay, I'm done. But I repressed things. So I kept repressing. And what I didn't realize
You
is
don't
that
grieve,
actually,
you grind.
you know, right, but that's not healthy, y'all. So
Yeah.
it's really not.
Yeah.
So what happened was I didn't realize, but I was my self-esteem was starting to diminish because I was, you know, like just not grieving. So like all my emotions were just getting tucked away. So I actually went through what I would consider a relapse, right? Like I didn't have my self-esteem where it normally is, especially with COVID. You know, you're lonely, you're grieving. I started a new industry. I was working in trucking. You're right, I have done a lot.
I was a truck driver too, though.
Well, I did operations. Yeah, I do know how to drive, but that was not my bag. I can like get around a lot and like train you or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was more like safety operations, payroll, HR, DOT inspection, stuff like that.
You didn't want to come and see this woman. This was the last person you wanted to talk to that day.
That's true. I do sometimes miss firing people. I know that's jacked up, but like most people that get fired deserve it, bro. Like, I'm sorry.
Where's my applause? Hold on. I keep hitting the wrong one. Yeah, woo! For real. Yo, good help is so hard to find.
Beyond.
That shit is real.
It's sad, man. It's sad. But yeah, so
I have
going
nothing
through all
else.
that, it was just like, you know, my self-esteem kind of started like, you know, I didn't even know at that time like that I was just lonely and depressed and everything, and I fell into a toxic relationship with a closeted gay narcissist, and that was freaking nuts.
That sounds like a lot.
It was a lot. So after a couple of years and I finally broke free of that, that's when I started going to therapy and kind of getting back into like myself, you know. But the healing journey in that part probably took about 6 months to where I was like, okay, learning how to stop repressing feelings, learning you know, how to actually feel. Like, you ever see that part of the Grinch where it's like the little heart at the end?
Where his heart's like,
Yeah, it was like boop, boop, all
and
little,
it's growing.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I was like, oh shit, feelings, like feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was so weird because I always had them in my head.
Yeah.
You know, I repressed feelings from growing up in domestic violence. So like pain was just like, what? You know, or like even when I was on Faces or different teams, when I went to Nigeria, you know, people cry like out in the open, and I'm like, what the fuck is
you
wrong
crying
with you?
for? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to tell my one colleague like all the time, like, are you okay? You're in therapy, right? Like, you're dealing with this shit somewhere, but not knowing that he's dealing with this shit 12 times better
Right.
than I am. You know, I'm just repressing, and I'm fine, and everything's fine.
Are you crying?
Yeah, what? It's like crying at baseball.
Crying is
You know what I mean?
underrated. Crying is underrated.
Crying is, hun, there's so many strength in tears.
Yes.
Right? And that's the first 6 months that I went through therapy, was just digging through all that stuff and just crying. I was writing letters to people like, man, I'm sorry, I never really felt that. You know what I mean?
That's
I was on an apology tour for like
That's the letters. I wrote 2 letters recently, and they are hard to write because in that moment, you also want to let them know, like, fuck you, like one of those.
No,
but then
I
it's
didn't
also
feel
like,
that
I had a bunch of different feelings. Fuck you feelings. I love you. I'm sorry. And it's like just going through a plethora of emotion, just like down the whole thing, the whole process. But it's a very self-freeing. It's a freeing thing for sure.
It was, yeah. My emails and letters were more like, all right, I wasn't really dealing with my feelings, but this is how I actually felt. Sorry, I ghosted you for like the last 5 years, but like,
I'm back, baby.
I'm not 100% back, but I'll like, you know, I'll get you an award or something. You know what I mean? Because, you know, like it was just literally me repressing, you know? So, and that even included pain, which I didn't realize, which was cool to figure out. Because I broke my ankle and I was like, nah, I'm fine. I'm just going to walk around in a boot and do shit.
You were walking around with a broken ankle?
On a boot, yeah.
You're fucking nuts.
Yeah, producing shows and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, I was talking to my therapist about it, and I was telling her, I was like, I didn't know it was broken for 4 years until I went to the doctor. And I was telling him, like, you know, my foot kind of hurts still. And he was like, did you ever break it? I'm like, nah, I had a bad sprain, like, I think it was like 2016, 2015, whenever Dance Craze was. And he's like, nah, you broke it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh
so I
my.
had to talk to the therapist about that too, like repress pain, like physical pain.
Right.
So when you asked me the question about how long did it take to get there, hon, I'm literally still here because every day I'm growing and learning, and I don't really want to stop. You know, I just want to keep. Yeah, no, I don't want
Shit's
to
a
stop.
marathon.
Yeah, and then what I do is I take everything I learned and everything I've been through, and I tank that into my projects, just like the cultural festival, you know, and a culture exchange program. You know, those are things that are passionate to me because I've been through that. You know, I've been a person who's lost their emotional intelligence. I've been a person who, you know, was in trouble in my youth. You know, I caught a felony at 19 years old. A lot of people don't know that, you know.
You gangster too?
I have my moments. No, I'm just...
She Madea with the purse.
No, but I mean, that also brought me to realize, especially when I went back to college as an adult over at Northampton Community College, that brought me to the realization of this is still happening within our schools. You know, and I'm not completely dissatisfied with the school systems. I know they're trying, and there's funding and teachers, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into developing kids, right?
Yeah.
But that's why we offer those supplemental programs, right? That's why we do those things so that kids can learn those skill sets. You know, you need to learn how to budget. You need to learn how to make decisions. You need to learn a skill set that keeps you out of trouble instead of catching a felony at 19, right? So that's really why I do what I do, is based off of my own experiences. And as I'm growing and healing from things and going through things, you know, I try to incorporate those into programs that people that I'm working with.
I really like the fact, and I'm gonna bounce back a little bit about when you said, I took this nonprofit and I kind of built a bridge for them. I see a lot of nonprofits in this area. I mean, things have been changing a little bit, but they didn't work together. It was like they all wanted to be recognized for their contributions, but you could touch so many more lives positively if we're all working in tandem. Like you got like an organization like Ripple, and they kind of do the same thing as Oath, but they're not really affiliated with each other. And then you got an organization like Promise Neighborhoods, and they also do things with the homeless, but they're not really working with either of them. But you know, and that was something I wanted to see more of. It's like we're all kind of preaching unity and loving your neighbor and helping each other, but we're also not really doing these things with our organization and our resources. So I really like to hear that you did that.
You've
been doing that, I should say.
I think that was actually the biggest compliment that I got this year when somebody was like, I never anticipated a grassroots organization to be able to come together and really like do the festival, in this way. And it was like, that was heartwarming to me because, now that I've kind of stepped out of the programming realm, teaching, now I'm trying to, empower the entrepreneurs and the nonprofit owners to work together and give them different resources and that type of thing. So to hear that was really cool. But no, it is difficult. You're dealing with a lot of different personalities and
egos
egos, yeah. But also too is like, when you're looking at promise and oath and these things, it might not even be the fact that they don't want to work together. They just might have different perspectives on how they do their program.
Yeah, that too.
So it's like, all right, well, you do your program that way, not in a bad way, but you're dealing with a different population or you're dealing with different type of funding, So sometimes what we see on the outside is like miscommunications or disconnects are really, they've already been discussed as far as like, okay, this isn't going to work if we try to work together.
Yeah.
But they help each other in different ways that we might not know about.
Well, thank you for clarifying that. Because
I didn't say that was the case. I was just saying it's possible.
But I'm just saying, the possibility that I'm saying thank you because that wasn't really something that I considered. Yeah. And it's because I've been in these rooms over the past couple of years, and I've heard people talk, and it seems like there's a unwillingness in some cases. Or a disagreement in the way that they do certain things, and they're not going to work together because of that. So that's why I mentioned that.
Yeah,
but.
Well, I just wanted to kind of put a positive spin to it because you're right. There are ego things in play. There are ego problems in place, and credit and all these kind of things. I mean, I even went toe to toe with one of my sponsors last year, and she's like, "Oh, they're big too," and she's like.
She had to throw that in there. I'm just letting know.
But in all reality, and I have to state this for the record, when you're not willing to play the game, you fight harder. I'm not willing to sit here and go to these networking events. Where do you see me? You know what I mean? I'm traveling. I'm doing other stuff. I'm not willing to sit on these boards anymore, all this other kind of stuff. So when you're not willing to do that and be a part of the machine, it takes you a lot longer. Hence why it's important for grassroots, like the organizations that you mentioned, to come together and really build, because if you're not, then you're going to have to be part of the machine.
Yeah.
There's really no choice, so I chose to go against the grain, but it was harder. It took me 6 years. We're in year 6. Yeah, it took me 5 years to build it to this point where it's actually getting WFMZ. Now, if I would have partnered up sooner and sacrificed and, okay, I'm just going to let them control whatever and take credit for it. I was going to say,
you definitely would have lost creative control in some aspects.
Yeah, and
as well.
It wasn't anything but creative control. I literally just gave up a $2 million deal for my program over creative control.
Wow.
Yeah, $1.8 million for 3 years, and I said, and I looked at that paperwork, and I'm like,
that's some Dave Chappelle shit.
No.
The money's gonna come back.
It wasn't for me. The money goes. Okay, I don't take any money from nonprofits. I just have to state that for the record. Okay. I have never gotten one penny from any of the nonprofits. Anything I ever get, I always flip back into either a missionary trip or other programs.
That's what's up.
I have a day job. I have stocks. I'm fine. I'm not rich. I'm just saying I'm
comfortable. Get $1.
Can I sell it to you? I'm not really a cash person. You know what I'm saying?
Neither am I. Yo, every time we go somewhere with my wife, and they're like, oh, cash only, and I'm just like, all right, baby, you're up.
Yeah, right.
She's digging through the purse, and she just looks like she just pays for everything. I look like one of them dudes.
Oh, no.
I'm just like, hey, man, it ain't no shame in my game. We married. What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine.
No, but even with that, with the grassroots, you're really literally waiting on funding sometimes. You know, versus like some of the larger organizations, they're like, they just pay for stuff right away. It's like, dude, do you mind if you wait like 60 days? You know what I mean? So there are drawbacks to not being a part of that system. But yeah, the deal was mainly because, when I looked at the level of control and I looked at the evaluations, and I don't mind being evaluated and corrected and feedback and those things. But when I looked at who that was going to come from, they don't have any expertise.
Yeah.
I can't go tell Linda Vega, who's been doing programming for 20 years, this is how to do your job from somebody who's never even done it. So for me, creative control is always going to be one of the most important things to me. And maybe that's just my Capricorn side.
Nah.
But no, it's important.
It's your baby.
It is my baby.
It's your baby.
It is my baby.
and then to give it up, just give up something as important as creative control for something that stemmed from your relative.
Yeah.
They don't understand. They might not understand those things.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't explaining it either. It's not for me to explain.
Fuck off.
No, we still have a relationship. It's just, you just got to be, I appreciated the offer. And honestly, sometimes those are the kind of things that give you your value, right? So, you get that deal, maybe you turn it down for whatever reasons, but that showed you your value. Now you know what your value is. So it just encourages you to continue to do it because that right deal is going to come along.
See, that's why I said
now I'm working
that
with
Dave
Department of
Chappelle
State.
shit.
I don't have to worry about that. So as far as the program.
Is that for the exchange program?
Yeah, that was for the exchange program.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. So wait, is this something that's up and running already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we started in 2019 by going to Nigeria. Me and Jacinth went over there, and we worked with Clever Minds Educational Foundation, and we did some self-esteem and arts. Well, she did the arts. I did more like the self-esteem programming, and then I met with a lot of the like government and chiefs. It was so cool, bro. To
I was gonna
sit there with a
say.
freaking chief in Africa, and like we're taking shots of gin at like 10 in the morning.
It's
like
10 o'clock
so
somewhere.
fucking hot.
Real 10 o'clock somewhere.
So hot. Well, first of all, it's like 103 degrees and like the humidity that you've never even felt before.
Do they really have big bugs?
Well, yeah, anywhere that's hot has big bugs.
Okay. I didn't know
they
if
have
it was
big
a
guns
rumor.
too. I was more scared about the big guns. On all their police are military, so they all have like AKs and ARs,
shit.
15s. And shit. Yeah,
He's like, I miss my handguns and tasers.
Right? Give me the regular cops, okay?
Oh my god.
But so we started then, and then COVID happened. I was still on the school board, and honestly, I was disgusted with the way the education system was still running. So I said, I'll just create my own damn table, and that's how the program started. So then I called Linda and I'm like, this is my crazy idea again. And she was like, okay. I said, well, come to me with my Nigeria in 2023. And she was like, okay. So we went over there and we did some development. And now, we're on to Liberia in March. I actually was talking to Linda about that today. So
That's
I'm working
dope.
with. Yeah, well, no, shout out to Dr. Sarita Johnson. She has a system in place here with the school over there. And I had already been linking up with Orsay, who's here from the Valley, but she's from Liberia.
Okay.
And she linked me up with like the Prime Minister and education people and all that. So we're going to, as a team of minority women, where's a little clappy thing? Thank you.
I'm going to let this one rock out for a little bit too.
Right. For real. No, seriously, like as a whole group of minority women, will be traveling to go over to do some development. And, so it's really cool to be able to work on that level with different people, and that's what we're talking about, collaborative efforts. Sometimes it is those little people because we're more open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
We're not as restricted as some of these bigger companies to say, oh, we can't do this. We got this funder, we got that funder, those type of things. So I think unless something crazy happens, I'm always going to work with grassroots. It's just where my heart is at.
What's so you went to Nigeria, you're going to Liberia. What's the ultimate goal? Is it mainly Africa and African countries, or is it?
No, I'm sorry. I went to Jamaica in 2018. I did 2018 and 2019. I was in Jamaica doing some development there in Clarendon. Jacinth was also there, but just at a different time. It's crazy how this all linked up, man. It really was. And then I went to
God's
Kenya.
timing.
Dude, he don't
fuck
be
around.
putting me in so many positions. We talk a lot. like bruh.
Like, bruh, you need to chill a little bit.
Yeah, hun, I can't. And then Linda's like, Michelle, because honestly, I really got all these countries on boarded, and I was like, I'm gonna do this crazy online program where we're gonna be, and then so I had to scale it back and pivot and all kinds of jazz to get to this point. But no, I've done, I did Kenya,
Wow.
but no, I have.
You just went to.
I went to Kenya this year. That was fun.
Oh my
I went with
gosh.
Amnesty International, Columbia, and Howard University, and that was a blast, man. I can't lie. We went to juvenile correctional facilities, which I've never done, and I didn't realize how much I would be in touch with that story based off of my own criminal history. And it was like, Dag, you're successful, and I was like, Yo, it's possible. For
It's
you too,
possible.
brother. You know what
But, I mean,
It's like that
hold on, wait.
moment.
But during Africa, I know Kenya and Nigeria is a little bit
They're
more
completely
developed,
different, yeah.
but it's still.
It was definitely. Please do not complain about the jails here. Repeat. Please do not complain about the
Really?
jails here. Cots on the floor. They don't have any bathrooms in there. There's 2 bathrooms, so you have to leave. It's kind of like a little cottage. You leave the cottage to go to the bathroom. They did, like I said, they didn't have any frames. They just had cots, on the floor. Yeah, like
Wow.
it's definitely. And then when I went to Nigeria and I worked in some of the jails there, same situation. They don't have anything. They don't have any of the luxuries that we do. And then you have to think about the condition of some of these countries, right? So sometimes the electricity is out for 3 hours. Or running water. You're not really.
And then it's 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so,
different.
Yeah, so they don't have air conditioning fans and all that kind of stuff in their correctional facilities. And everything's out in the open too. You know how here we have like privacy laws and all that? Nah, man, they had this chart and they were just like, so and so's in here for murder. So and so's in here for robbery. I was like, dang. Like, I don't
Put
know.
my man on blast.
Yeah, you're like, was that the kid I was just talking to, bro? Like,
Oh my god.
He seems so sweet. Like,
I looked into his eyes. I didn't see it.
we just did poetry
Oh my
together. Like,
gosh.
it's crazy.
Holy smokes.
But yeah, and then we're going to Thailand next year too. I didn't mention that. So we'll be in Thailand next year. We're still planning that because Liberia kind of threw us off. I was planning on Liberia at the end of the year, but we got an opportunity to go with Orsay in spring. So I don't know when we're going to Thailand, but I am in touch with people in Japan, and we're doing some cultural diversity programming online with students, people from Japan with students here in the Valley.
Okay.
So I am working on incorporating some of those other countries either in person or online somehow. It's just I'm one person with the day job, and I kind of maybe hiking too or going on vacation.
Yeah,
so,
enjoying my life a little bit.
Yeah, there's that. So social activities. I have 3 friends that actually want to see me sometimes. So
No, it's definitely important to make time for the things that you actually want to do, not just the things you enjoy doing, but also have to do. So
Yeah.
that, I understand that.
For sure.
That makes a lot of sense. We feel the same thing. Like sometimes this place takes up so much of our goddamn time that it's like how do we enjoy the fruits of our labor when we have so much responsibility? What's the ultimate goal for this program? Do you guys have an ultimate goal?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, the ultimate goal is really to get all the countries onboarded and be able to get them online with the students here, and that's been the biggest struggle is the timing and the resources, which is why I'm going to these places to scope out, the internet, there's a lot of things you have to scope out. Nigeria, the groundwork is done, Japan, and sometimes you have ground people, right? So I might not even have to go to some of these places, but a lot of them I do have to go in order to scope out the land and kind of survey what's going on.
Yeah.
And ultimately, in some of these places we're working with people, like I said, like Dr. Sarita Johnson, who I was amazed to work with, we didn't realize we had the same missions going on. That was freaking cool, man.
He'll put you on the path somehow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So that mission, they all have their different missions. Like Nigeria was more to help build another school that my colleague already had a school there. So he wanted to build a second one, and he needed international attention in order to raise funding and get community support. You know how that works, right?
Yeah.
Always the outsiders that support you and everybody else does. So he needed that from us, but we also needed the programming experience and really to learn more about just Africa in general and how everything works with, the different tribes and, they have holidays just out of nowhere. You're like, oh, there's a masquerade today. First of all, and I thought it was a ball. No, the masquerade is basically when they shut down the entire town and all the elders get to beat the shit out of anybody that they ask things to. So if you're an elder and you want a car and I'm like, no, you can just flog me, bro. Yeah, man. So learning all those things really, you don't know until you get there.
Yeah, the customs and
Yeah. So
that sounds like a hell of an experience though.
Right.
You just get there, you're expecting to just kick your feet up or fucking go work with these kids and then boom, full on parade rolling down the block.
Yeah, there's no parade, huh? They're just out there you just see them and they're just interacting. And it was boop, and I was like, dang. So I asked my colleague, what's going on? It was just crazy. So, but the ultimate part that I'm trying to get to really is to get these countries onboarded and be able to kind of get them to interact online on a consistent basis. But like I said, the problem is really the timing. I originally thought I wanted to get into the school district, but then I realized that was limiting my spirit.
Trying to get into the school district in this area.
No, there was no trying. They called me 3 times. But the point is I didn't want to do the school
See?
district because
Boss shit.
No,
this the boss lady.
It's
over here.
not. I'm just being honest.
Nah,
it's not where.
it.
It's not my goal. No, the district is great. I'm not. Well, I'm not mad at anybody. I worked at the district here on the festival. I had a great time, but you have more creative control within the community centers. And honestly, a lot of those community centers is where your inner city kids are going that aren't accepted into some of the after school programs at the school. They're having language barriers. Their parents don't have money. So for me, my target market was really to hit the kids who needed it, the ones who are struggling with like being here and, migration and those kind of things. And honestly, the other part of it is really I wanted to target more predominantly white areas, just to be honest, because if I'm working with people from all these different countries, they need to be in, the people like out in, bumblefuck Western Pennsylvania, right? Like, when did they see a black person, if ever? Like my mom lives out there, and there's like 12 black people.
You start going out west.
Yeah,
you start going out west through Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking nothing but cornfields and mountains.
Cornfields.
It's
great, but at the same time, those people are missing the cultural diversity, right?
For sure.
They're also, and I'm not saying that this is absolutely true for everybody, but what I'm saying is, think about it, you live out in the middle of nowhere, all you see are people that look like you, and then you see shit on TV where it's just like, all you see is violence. All you see is,
that's the program.
Right. That's the program. So
right.
in order for us to be able to break that, we have to show them what it's like in reality, not what they just see. So I'm actually more so targeting.
I have never heard nobody ever say that point of view, because that's very valid, very, very valid. And most of America is like Midwest like the middle of Pennsylvania. Like most of it is that. Like you got your cities sprinkled throughout, but that's where the diversity is.
Right.
Montana, Wisconsin,
right.
Ohio, like you're not really getting any of that shit.
And that's why I said the district offer, but at the same time, it's like, okay, they already have a diverse group of people. You live in like a really, really, we live in a diverse area. Well, Lehigh Valley is a very diverse area. So when I started really realigning everything, I said, I definitely have to pay tribute to the Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton area. That's where I'm from, my family, that's where I grew up. I mean,
shout out to the 610.
Yeah, man. Or the 484.
Or the 484. The whole ABE.
This is how old I am, huh? My phone number didn't have an area code on it when I was growing up. So check that.
Just numbers?
Just numbers. Just 7 solid digits.
Oh, shit.
And I even had a math for it. So -2 + 5 = 3 + 38 = 41.
That's how you remembered your number?
So when they incorporated the area code, I'm like, y'all done fucked up my math.
Yeah, y'all threw everything off. What the? Yeah.
Yeah. So
thankfully, it's simple. 484 or 610.
Yeah, it wasn't too hard.
Yeah, it's not too crazy. That's interesting. I've never heard nobody remember their number like that.
I'm nuts, and we know this, but that's fine. I told you I was in engineering and all that. I do like math.
Shit.
But no, so ultimately, my target market is going to be those areas that aren't receiving that type of programming. They don't have access to diversity. They don't see Spanish-speaking people. They're not smelling Indian food. We have all that here. Mm-hmm. So honestly, to me, I feel like it's up to the community members within these diverse areas to keep their kids educated. And, people like myself can go to these other areas and help bring that there.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And I wish you much success on that, because like I said, I've never heard of nobody have that perspective where it's like, we're gonna reach out to white America that doesn't really get to opportunity to know us and what we bring to the table, and not
and vice
just
versa too.
Yeah,
because if you think about when I went to Nigeria, one of the things that I'm white there, huh? They didn't really understand mixed or Puerto Rican or light skin. You're either light skinned,
That's
black.
really why I want to go to Africa. Like, I wonder what it feels like to be in a place where everybody looks like me.
Craziness. I don't know. I haven't been there yet, but sort of, because I'm like they look like me in like Brazil or Colombia or something, but they're still not, So I don't. If there's a place for biracial people, like let me know. Like the biracial, biracial English speaking.
You made it.
I made it. But yeah, no, it is really cool to see that. I know like Jacinth was kind of like this, kind of reminded her of home, because she's from Jamaica, so that was really cool to see. And then Linda was just like, oh shit!
This is crazy.
This is crazy.
Yeah. This is crazy.
Not just for the color, but just the tradition and the culture and everything, and you start really correlating things, But back to what I was saying, when I first went there, the kids were like Oyibo, which is white, right? White person. And one of the kids had said something about like, I'm so glad you're here to save us. And I was like, oh shit, they got that white knight syndrome.
Oh shit.
Son of a bitch. So it was like, all right, pivot. You know what I mean?
I am not your savior.
I had to explain that there have been black people that have helped me more in my career than other races, honestly. So I was explaining that to like a 7-year-old. You know what I mean?
Holy
but at the
smokes.
same point, it was like it brought me that realization of look how they see us, right? Well, how do they see other Black people then? Because in our minds, we're thinking, okay, Africans. You know, a lot of times we have this
Black people think Africans don't like us.
right, and it's literally not that. It's, well, I can't speak on anybody's behalf. I just know like what I've heard and perceptions and things like that. And it's really just a large misunderstanding. Because
I would think so.
it's
as well.
literally a large misunderstanding, and I think a lot of people, you know, instead of starting a conversation, start a conversation. You know, it's not that complicated.
It's uncomfortable. People are not okay with putting themselves out there. I realized that. That's a lot of the reason why I started this show is because people don't talk to each other anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so start a
How else are you
conversation
supposed to
and
know?
ask, you know. But yeah, as far as like that white savior complex or whatever, and that's when it dawned on me, like, okay, you need to be in contact with more people from around the world that look like you, look different, you know, all that, and understand that there is success in everyone. You know what I mean? Because if you're not seeing it within your own community for some reason, then you need to see.
You need to find it somewhere
You need
else.
to find it somewhere else,
Yeah.
and that was fine with me. But so it's really an even exchange, you know, like the white America gets, you know, what they're not used to and what they don't have access to in touch. And then, you know, on the other side of that, they're getting contact with people who they have biases about that they really don't understand yet.
That's dope.
So that's why it's an exchange.
That's really dope. Hey,
I'm having a blast.
congratulations on all the work, all the awesome work that you're doing.
Thanks. It's been fun, to be honest with you. I mean, it's been.
Can you believe it's 50? We're 56 minutes in.
I told you I could talk forever. Like
It goes fast though. It flies by. I do want to talk about the hill you picked to die on. Because I
What?
disagree. That's bullshit.
What hill? What?
You don't remember the hill that you picked? It was about
No.
grits.
Oh God.
And that's some black ass shit.
Because I can eat grits both ways.
My
I'm
God.
like, come on.
Do
Like
you-
I
all
like
right,
them
so
with the
do you-
salt and the pepper and the cheese. That's great. I like them with the sugar, and sometimes I eat them with syrup. I ain't gonna lie about it. But you know what? The trickery is, like, I actually found someone who eats it with the sugar and the cheese, and that's like
Nasty.
also the closet of gay narcissist.
That's
just saying.
He would be the person. That's nasty. He's a nasty.
So
You're a
don't
nasty man.
So don't persecute me. There are other bad choices out there. But no,
Cheese
how can you
grits-
not like both though? With
Cheese grits are far better than sugar grits.
I never said one was
like-
better than the other. I'm
you
just
s-
saying I eat both.
You said they're equally. What'd you say? They're equally as good, or
They are to me.
No,
It's a mood thing.
That if you want sweet grits, just go eat oatmeal or cream of
It's
wheat.
not the same.
All right, cream of wheat, they're damn near identical.
They're
damn
not.
near.
Cream of wheat and then freaking grits is cool. Come on, man.
I mean,
Don't give me a food lesson, brother.
come
Like, dang, I gotta teach here
on.
too now.
and the cheese is way better than the come on, the cheese,
It
the butter.
depends on your taste, man.
Salt.
I don't-
I'm a salty person. I prefer salty over sweet.
yeah, no, I eat ice cream for breakfast. I have
One
eaten
of
ice
those.
cream for breakfast. Yeah, I have.
Fuck it, it's
not
7
even-
o'clock somewhere.
It is. I mean, is there a timing on it? Like, who set these times? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think
Conditioning
society.
is.
Yeah, I don't. Right. I'm not really into the societal norms. I literally, you know, it's funny because I was talking to somebody the other day and they were like, "You really do whatever you want to do." And I thought about it and I was like, "Damn,
That's a very freeing thing.
I kind of do though."
Yeah.
I mean, not all the time. You know, like I told you, I did my service with the school board and
Yeah.
other places where I had to be the slave and stuff. But you know, for the most part, no, I do what I want to do. I work remote. I have my program and the festivals and.
Does it make
just
you?
kind of do whatever suits me?
Does that realization make you feel a way when you're down?
Well, you know, actually, it made, like that realization made me feel like how can I, like, not in like some kind of codependent shit, but like how can I do that for other people? Like, why isn't everybody else living this way?
Oh,
Like,
that's-
what do you boggle down by? Like, you know, kids and stuff. I understand. You know, you got to understand and have kids, so that does allot you a very particular type of freedom. You know, and I remember before somebody told me like, "Hun, if I didn't have kids, I would be running up credit card debt." Like, f that shit, because like who? And I
Come
started-
and get it, bitch.
yeah, it's like who you gonna tackle for it, right? Next to kin who? Like it
Right.
was like, dang, that's kind of true, but you know, you still have to live and you don't really know. But yeah, I mean, I think when I decided not to have kids in 1991, when I was 11,
You decided at 11, but then you dedicate your life pretty much to working with the youth.
yeah, well, yes, but
Wow.
but
That's interesting.
I just don't want kids because I like Well, you
They're
have to think
fucking
about it.
monsters. I love my children. They're my babies. But
terrorists.
god damn.
The terrorists.
My wife cleaned our entire living room the other day. No lie. I took my son to his football practice. It was just 2 kids left at home. We came home and it looked like a hurricane ran through the first floor of my house. And then we went to sleep, right? Because I was tired. We went to bed.
Yeah.
We wake up and my wife said, I cleaned this whole shit. How does it look like this? The kids went to bed the same time as us. How does it look like this? I said,
God.
baby, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't even know anymore. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not mad at people, you know, like that I didn't have kids or anything, because people are like, oh, you don't regret it. No, I actually made that conscious decision. I thought about it one time when I was married, and then my real estate career started kicking off, and it was like, oh, I can't really do that right now. And then we got divorced 3 years later. So it was one of those things where it's like, you know, I haven't really been dating anybody serious. And then, you know, the serious relationship I did get into was toxic. So, you know, even if I wanted to, when the hell was I going to have time? You know, and in 1991, I know it sounds crazy, but my sister was a single mom. Then my brother ends up being a single, you know, everybody started being single parents, and I didn't know it at the time, but I think that was me recognizing the dysfunction within my own family and saying, okay, like,
Fuck that.
yeah, fuck that. Like,
Fuck
I
that.
don't think not that I'm not capable, but I need to fix some shit before I can even think about that.
Yeah.
And then I just did the career, so I wasn't really like
It's
fixing
kind of
life,
like
you know?
that thing you said. You know, you don't see the example, you got to go find one. You had the example of what you didn't want.
Right.
And you're like, I'm cool now.
Right.
I respect
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah. So, and plus I knew I don't have the patience, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I really don't. It doesn't mean I wouldn't if I had the kid, but like to actually have to think about, okay, I can't travel here. I can't do that. I can't, you know, I got to tailor back everything. I'm like, you know, like I got to listen to
sucks.
Kids Bop and shit. Like, you know, like,
Oh,
I
nah.
just,
My kids listen to our music. Fuck that.
well, I'm just telling you how I would raise
Oh.
them. You know what I mean? And I'm picky too. Like, you're not going to public school. You're not doing that, you know? So it's just,
That's a big one. That's a big
Right,
one.
huh?
If where you buy your house, you got to
So
be like,
much.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of
I'm literally
considerations.
buying a trailer in April, and I'm just going to be on the road for like a whole year. I don't even care.
Fuck
Now
it.
I'm going to be traveling and all that stuff too. But like, you know, the same case in point, it's just like, I don't have kids. I want to go to Arizona today.
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah. But there are points when you're like, how do I not have kids and I'm this fucking broke? How the hell is this even possible?
You
man?
spent all your money on food.
Side projects and food. My financial advisor did tell me about my Grubhub habit last year.
Oh
Actually,
my
for 2 years in a row, that's my
It's-
biggest expense was Grubhub and coffee. She
Uh-huh.
was like, between Dunkin', Starbucks, and Grubhub, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so this year, well, this is what you do, hon.
Buy a fucking coffee machine.
I do have an espresso machine. But no, and I really hope my financial advisor doesn't watch this. But
I'm gonna find out who it is. I'm well connected. I'm gonna send it to him.
You get a separate expense account for your bullshit, you know,
Yes.
and then she don't even see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Oh
I
wait,
just-
no, I wasn't talking. I'm sitting here agreeing with this shit.
Yes.
No,
See how
no.
easy it is? I'm telling you, I can sell anything.
I'm thinking you saying like get a bill account, get a spending account. That's what I'm thinking you say. You saying nah, hide the
No,
money.
she monitors those, man.
Hide the money.
Yes. You get that change, it's like, okay, I'm gonna put that in a little bag.
Oh
right
my
there.
God.
You know, so yeah, I've been paying for a lot of Grubhub, you know, like things like that, like cash. Like, you know, like,
Oh my god.
yeah. So,
You're a
I
trip.
mean, I have gotten better, to be honest with you. But yeah. you know,
Progress.
yeah, progress is
Progress.
key.
I realize a lot of women have spending issues. Like my wife, every day we come home and there's an Amazon package on my fucking porch.
Oh man.
It's like, why?
I can't say it's women.
I
though.
needed
I
it.
mean, women do get a bad rep for shopping. I mean,
Yeah, y'all think
I'm not
y'all
that
think
one, though.
shopping, women think shopping is a form of therapy.
I mean, retail therapy is a thing though. Like,
No,
also-
oh no, you see that shit.
Wait a minute.
She just said, I don't really do these, but look,
I don't. I'm.
where's
I'm
the
just,
cape? She put the cape on quick.
Always. Okay. No, but my sister has I have one sister that is like actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, man, both of them got shopping problems.
See?
But no,
See?
but dude, they don't commit crimes.
They don't get
They're very emotionally killed. You know, they don't really. I mean, they get upset, but they handle it well. You know,
Yeah,
so
God.
I don't know if that's like how they handle
The-
it. But
the balance?
I'm not a shopper. Like I told you, I'm more like Grubhub, coffee, trips, like I've had these sneakers for 3 years. I washed them this morning and I was like so happy about it. Like, oh my God, they're all white again.
I was going to say, they don't even look dirty.
I wash them.
Yeah.
You can wash sneakers, bro.
Only people in their 40s and up do the shit like that, though.
Damn, you ain't lying.
Yo, I swear to God, I remember.
I learned it from somebody in their 50s.
See, my uncle was like, yeah. I was like, what you about to do? He's like, go home. He's like, I think I'm going to wash my Adidas. And they're like the Rocher runs.
Yes.
He's like, I think I'm gonna wash them. They looking kind of dirty. I'm like, Uncle Al, you gonna wash your? He's like, hell yeah, I wash my shoes. These bitches be clean too.
Yo, how are you gonna just keep spending all that money? And then it's just like, well, no. This is the thing. Is like, okay, I'm trying to retire. I'm trying to I tried to retire before and that didn't work. I lasted 7 months and I was like, oh my God, I can't take it.
Fucking bored.
No, I was like, I'm done. I just couldn't take it. So I said, you know what, let me go back to work. And that's when I found like the remote job. And I was like, cool, I can work remote, still get benefit, so that kind of just fit everything. But everybody spends their money on different things. So my therapy is like trips, right? So
that's good therapy.
That's your perspective though, right? But to women, I guess, because they're the only people that shop, as if men don't have toys.
She's calling me a sexist.
Hun, what is all this stuff? Okay, what do you?
My wife actually bought that for me. Thank you, babe.
For you. Okay. He's talking all this shit. And she's like, she bought it for you. Okay, then.
She gets a pass.
No,
she bought it on Amazon too.
She bought it on Amazon. You only get a pass as long as you're shopping. You know what?
Husband. I do not. I don't need this. We're 6 minutes over the time. Wrap this shit up. I'm over this.
No, but I think we all spend our money on different things, and as long as we're being responsible, then what's the big harm? I'm not really into shopping for clothes and all that jazz. I mean, I've gotten to the point where I just literally wear my own brand all the time. Like most of the time you see me, it's in a festival shirt or a cultural exchange shirt.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
She hooked me up with a brand new shirt.
Yeah.
Can people buy these?
Yeah, they actually can. Yeah.
Let them know where they can find it.
I know. I'm like, crap, what the link?
Yeah, right. What's the link name?
Well, you can just go to innerstar.org and, put in an inquiry and, we have like a thing for shirts. Yeah, innerstar.org. That's
INNA.
STAR.org. Yes. Yeah. Or MZ Foundation, or actually, it's mzfound.org, which is the website for the festival and the cultural exchange program. But you can get a festival shirt there or an Innistar shirt on the Innistar webpage.
Where can the people find you? Let them know where they can find you. Or you don't want to be found. Okay, I guess.
That's that moment where it's like, I feel like we just talked about not being diplomatic, but also kind of like saying the right thing.
Yeah,
it's
right.
like, no, it's not that I can't be found, but yeah, you can always follow the International Cultural Festival on Instagram and Facebook. We're working with, a bunch of different partners now. We have Movement Moves Media, Innistar, and Relic. So
shout out.
Yeah, it's not a matter of finding me. It's a matter of finding the festival, finding, these people that are within your communities. I've kind of backed off on leadership. So if you're interested in putting programming into your school or anything like that, then yes, mzfound.org or, myself, 484-544-3949. But for like any of that other stuff, when it comes to my job is really to support the nonprofits that I'm working with and be able to showcase their work. So if you find me, or hopefully you will find the other organizations. Well, no, because it's hard. mzfound.org. It's like, what? So it's, but we'll put it on a little thing right now.
I'll make sure I have everything in the descriptions below that she says, just in case. Yeah. So,
but thanks for having me today. I had a blast.
Yeah, this is dope, right?
We were like, should we do it at the festival? I'm glad we didn't do it at the festival though. This was much more freeing, and I was kind of stressed out.
You seem like it. I mean, it's a lot of running. From the moment I pulled up, you look like you had your hands full all day.
Track star status, bro. Like freaking
moving around
Richardson
all day.
Type shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like just, I have never in my life been that tired from like an event. But one thing I will say about like the turf, and I never played sports, so
it's hot.
Well, yeah, I kind of anticipated like the track to be hot, but I mean the green part, where the kids play, the 100-yard line and all that part of the turf, dude, it was like, and I mean, I keep saying it, I don't know what else to call it, but it was like concrete with hula grass. Like there was no bounce to it. It was just like rock hard. And when I would go to see the kids practice and they're like falling on it, and I'm like, dang, like
it's funny you say that.
They have these kids playing on this crap, like I just can't believe that kids
new
actually
turf.
play on this shit.
That's new turf.
I would never.
When I went to Allen, we had our turf was like going to Walmart, getting one of them sheets that they always sell for like $30 and just laying them 100 yards around the field. That's what ours was like. And then it had the black pellets that just fucking went all in your shoe and made your walking uncomfortable. That new turf is way nicer. So
whatever you say, hon. I have never in my
way
life.
nicer.
You will never see me on a turf again. I mean, I did go to East Stroudsburg and I was playing with the football equipment. Now that's different. But as far as like doing festivals and running around, no. We're gonna go to Cedar Beach next year. We just started planning, so yeah, we're gonna go back to the city parks and be able to have more people and more interaction and have that community vibe that I like to see, where people are eating together and seeing the performers and so we're definitely amping things up. And Jay Birdie Crumb was great and it was awesome to work with the district, but just as far as the sense of the community that was missing to me for this year, because we couldn't eat on the turf. Yeah,
that was tough. A lot of people were buying food and they're like, He's like, can I take the drink?
Yeah, I don't like people complaining at my event.
Yeah, nah.
And I got stopped for lemonade, bro. It's like I'm the founder. Like,
I'm running this shit.
And then the guy comes in a golf cart like, do you want to ride? No, man. No, I don't want to ride. Like,
you done piss me off. I'm about to fire you.
Well, no, it's just like, I don't want to be catered to. Like, how fair is it for everybody else having to, like, drop off their lemonades at the gate or drink them fast? So I just told her I'll come back to it.
You don't like that treatment?
There's a time and a place.
Yeah, time and a place is when I'm in that motherfucker. You treat me like I run this motherfucker. What you talking about?
It depends on what it is. I won't lie.
I would say that. It does depend.
I wasn't going to sweat the lemonade.
If I get
if I had me a plate, oh yeah, no, you're taking me we're gonna
Nah, the plate, I think the plate is more egregious than the lemonade.
You think so?
Fuck yeah. You got to sit there. You need multiple things. Like, for a drink, you need one hand for a drink.
Yeah.
You need both your hands and your neck.
Right, so that's why I said if it was a plate, I would have got a ride. But then you got to think about it. I'm only riding to the other side to go sit on the outside anyway. So I literally had to drop whatever I had because I had to go run shit. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think the food's more egregious.
Well, guess what? We don't have that problem at Cedar Beach.
Yeah,
So.
next year we're golden.
Yeah,
but we're at the time.
I had a great time, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're
I'm
a
glad.
dope dude, bro.
Oh,
Keep it pushing. I love, just to, kind of make sure I give my shout out to you is that, I didn't really know you before the festival or anything. And then, I met you over at Reggae Fest last year.
Fest, yes.
Yeah, and I love what you're doing. I love how you're inspiring the youth. I love that you're, making progress in your life that's positive. You and your wife at the daycare, your podcast, the way you're taking care of your kids. You're leading by a true example within this community, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I love the fact that you recognize that you were Black and Latino at the same time.
Yeah, I'm
Brother,
a Rodriguez. I'm a Rodriguez.
Yeah,
and I'm learning to speak the language so I can really truly represent. So
yeah. But no, so I just wanted to say thank you for what you're doing for us too. People see that and they're inspired, and just keep pushing, man.
Thank you. Yeah. And I hope to do a whole lot more stuff with you guys. I used to be a part of Movement Moves Media. I was a treasurer for a while. But I really love like all the things that you guys, not only what they're doing, but like In a Star. I participated in some In a Star stuff, the Multicultural Festival, all of it. Like, I love all the stuff that you guys are doing because I grew up in this town and we didn't have things like this when I was a kid.
Right.
And now that these things are accessible, I want to let people know these things are accessible and be a part of that as well.
Exactly.
Because Allentown's the third largest city in the state, and we're not recognized like that. And we deserve that.
Yeah,
we deserve that. So I want to be a part of everything you guys are doing, and
yeah.
vice
Well, I mean,
versa.
you have to think about it too. Like everything that we're doing, Movement Moves Media has their own thing. Really like In a Star, but as far as I don't know where Mike's at with the international stuff. We're definitely in discussion. I'm trying to bring him on board.
He's a busy man.
He is, but I'm trying to bring him on board. Like, come on, brother. But
get on the ball, Mike.
But yeah, as far as that concerned, we're always going to bring it back. That's why I said my program. Even though I might not have my soul base here and all that, I'm not going to stop doing program at CASA and some of the other things, and that's why I was asking about programming here. I'm never going to stop paying homage to what brought me the diversity. It's just I have to spread it to places that really need it.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
No, you can't ever forget where you came from, man.
I agree. That's what made you. That's why you are who you are.
Yeah.
Give any final shout outs before we close up shop here.
No, I mean, shout out to everybody, for coming through in the election, no matter which side you came through.
Yes,
like
yes.
seriously.
Thank you guys for voting.
Yeah, just for voting, man. I know there's some discourse, and people might not be happy with the results, or people are happy with the results, whatever. But I'm really happy to see the level of turnout in all the communities. And I saw so many people coming together, you know, that years ago I was like, don't they like hate each other? You know what I mean? So to see everybody coming together for a common cause was really beautiful. But to put a little bit of pressure on you, take that energy into collaborating. Take that energy and put it into changing your perspective and opening your mind and understanding where other people are coming from. I didn't say agree, but just at least open your mind to learning and coming to a level of tolerance and understanding versus hate.
I like that. I have nothing else to add. She talking that shit. I don't need to add.
I'm sorry, I got
Boss
preachy.
lady got
I got
it.
preachy. I promised I wasn't gonna get preachy. I was like, no preachy, no preachy.
No, this is a very fun episode.
It was.
I want to thank everybody for watching and listening. Make sure you go and follow all the pages and all the things that she's involved in. As you can see here, go get yourself a shirt.
Yo.
Represent. Make sure you coming out next summer to the festival. It's a great time. I'm pretty sure you'll see me there. You'll definitely see her running around like a chicken with her head cut off. But yeah, man, we're doing dope things. We're trying to bring the community together. And yeah, man, we just want you guys to be a part of these things that we're putting in motion for everyone. But shoot for the moon. If you miss, you're still amongst the stars. Peace.
Ow.
Yeah. I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now. I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now. I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me.